Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Foot Traffic. Today, I am taking some on-air coaching. We call these Strategizing with Stacy, and I have a few ladies that are going to be joining me here in just a second. What I always tell people, and I think most of you get this anyway, the reason we're doing more and more of these is because you're asking for it, you're requesting, you're telling us. We get so much out of hearing you coach other people. So that's why we're doing it. So if you're listening and you're thinking, well, why do I need to listen to this? Please know that when you hear me talking to these phenomenal, amazing powerhouses, as I'm coaching them, there's something there for you too, right? And a lot of times when I am coaching somebody, it's hard to hear it for themselves. Like if I said right now, you've got to raise your prices, right? And I'm talking to somebody, you're going, oh, she definitely needs to raise her prices. Like she's too low. Like it's so easy for you to coach that person and see it. But when you get in the hot seat and I say to raise your prices, all the feelings come up, right? All of the emotions, all of the, oh, but I can't. You don't know my market. You don't know my audience, right? So I want you to really listen in as we're talking to other people. What are you hearing and how are you hearing me coach that maybe you need to hear that today? Okay. All right. Jennifer, I'm going to bring you on stage. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much.
Yeah. So Jennifer, tell everybody real quick who you are, what you do, and then I start asking me questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate that. My name is Jennifer Alvarez. I'm a salon owner and I also have an on-location bridal company. And I am a business coach for hairstylists who are looking to open up a salon, and I teach them how to create a creative business plan.
Which is why your hair always looks so phenomenal. So Jennifer, what are your questions for me today?
Okay, so today I wanted to start off with seeking some ideas for strategies on how to create about a 60-day runway to launch my product without overwhelming myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know what? So I know you, right? Everybody listening doesn't know that I know you, but Jennifer is one of our Foot Traffic clients. And Jennifer is one of those people, if I say to do it, she does it. And when I show what I do, she tries to do all the things that I do. However, I have a much larger team than you do, right? So this time when we go into this, you are going to remember that and you're going to do all the things that fit on your schedule and fit on your calendar. So I appreciate you saying without the overwhelm, because I believe you can do it. We just have to slow down some things and always remember, we'll add that next time. Like that's a great idea. Let's do it next time. So, but Jennifer, that skill set and that quality of you just doing all the things, or I should say like doing what we recommend, is why you've just constantly been having those wins and having that momentum. So I do want to congratulate you for that and just honor that, like I'll do whatever I need to do type of personality, because more people need to have that. So, all right, cool. So a 60-day runway. So you are going to try to promote something in 60 days. And you're saying, how do I get the messaging across now to make it easier for people to say yes in 60 days?
Yes.
So, okay. So first of all, what is the product? Tell me that.
So the product is $4.97 and it is a business plan on how to open your business.
Okay. So a business plan to open up a salon.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So a business plan to open up your salon. So now if we want a runway, if we want people to start to be attracted and to listen and to hold on to what you're saying, you've got to ask yourself, first of all, I always tell you guys, give me the brain dump of what's in the course, right? And then when you look at everything that's inside of that course, we reverse engineer to what is something I could talk about from that higher level, right? So you're going to teach them how to build a business plan. But what you could be talking about in your runway is, what is a business plan? Why do you need it? Common mistakes from people that don't have business plans. What I learned for my business when I started without a business plan. Do you see how like there's so many things we can talk about with the what and the why before you ever dive into the how, right? So if we start talking and sharing and all of that kind of stuff for the next 60 days, by the time you say, listen, here is this product, I'm ready to go, they're ready. Now, I also think while you have this runway, you could be building your wait list. You could be saying what a business plan is, right? That's the topic for today. And at the end of that, you could say now on, what is it? It's almost February. So you could just be saying like April 16th, I'll be opening up the doors for, how to do this. Make sure to get on the wait list so you're the first person that gets notified, right? And a reason to join the wait list. So if you could say to them, I'm going to open the doors up to the wait list first. I am going to have maybe there's a fast action price point in there. There's extra exclusive bonuses. Give them a reason to get on that email list so we can nurture them, not just with our social media, but with our email the next 60 days. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now it's time to, like I said, make that Google Doc of everything in the program and then go, what's the step before it? What do they even need to know before it? Because honestly, there's some people that are like, business plan, isn't that like so 1999? Do I even need a business plan these days? Right? You have to be the person educating that this is how you're successful. I'd be sharing quotes, statistics of how many people like their business falls apart. I'd be showing how many salons have closed, right? I would be sharing how I bet when I'm looking at these people and what this looks like, they didn't have a business plan or they didn't know how to do it correctly, right? So things like that. Does that help?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And
Okay, cool.
somebody else in the program also created that chart.
Yes.
I forgot who it was, but that was like, wow, that just to see it outlined like that it's awakening.
Yeah. So Jennifer, what she's talking about, you guys, is this last week in foot traffic formula, somebody came with a Google Doc of here's what I'm doing in the paid, here's what I'm doing in my smaller offer, here's what I'm doing for free. And seeing that, you guys, it is so incredibly helpful.
What would you suggest as far as my main goal, getting them to the pivot to profit roadmap, would be a good low offer to help offset the ads that I'll be running?
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying let's get a low ticket price point in the next 60 days before this thing. Okay. So just what we just talked about, how she had the big offer, the little offer, the free stuff. I think that's your next step. And I'm so glad you got to see that this week, because now it's time for you to create yours, right? Because it's going to change. You might not put something in the big offer because of the way that you structured it here or what you're going to say for free. So mapping that out is going to be really, really crucial for you, because we don't want angry customers who are like, she's just giving all this away for free. Why am I even paying for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a pretty good audience to start off with.
Yeah.
However, I have had some analysis paralysis and I've been a little quiet. How do I get that going without scaring people away?
Okay. So you've been a little like quieter, you're saying, on social and everything?
Yeah. So I have a podcast and I do that every single week.
Okay.
Facebook group,
You've still
email.
been doing stuff.
Yes,
Okay.
but like posting on Instagram just once a week, doing my podcast once a week.
Okay.
So
here is what we have to remember. We think everybody knows everything about us and our posting schedule and what we're up to, right? We're like, we just think like everybody knows. But here's the thing. When I see somebody, okay, that all of a sudden starts in my newsfeed today, I'm not like, I haven't seen her in a while. Why has she been MIA? I'm just thinking Instagram didn't show it to me until today. Right? So there's probably the exception of the rule and the person that's been stalking, right? But that's not normal, right? That's not like the case. Typically, people are just going to think you weren't put in front of them. So when you do all of a sudden start popping up, you don't have to apologize. You don't have to bring up that you've been MIA or that you don't have to say anything. It's just give them great content, give them great value, right? And give them an opportunity to hit that like, share, or comment. So just go and just start, and people will start to see the consistency, and your actions will speak louder than words. The people that come on and apologize for being MIA for 3 months and then they fall off 6 days later, nobody wants to see that, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Linda says, I wish I was even that good. So I think you're better than you're thinking, and you haven't been completely MIA where people are going to be surprised and shocked. And just keep using the feedback, right? Like, oh, I'm so glad yesterday's post resonated and people thought this or that, and use that to keep building conversations.
I love that. And do you have any recommendations of how often to go live?
Yeah. So if you are first of all, let's pretend you weren't in a launch runway. Okay. Minimum once a week. Just always. Okay. When you are in a launch, you're like running, going into this and you're getting ready, I would probably go, when you say go live, where are we talking here?
Probably Instagram.
Okay. I would say, so always once a week minimum. When you get closer to launch time, you may want to go live twice a week, or you may want to, here's a good strategy, start doing on top of your solos once a week. If you could, Jennifer, I know we talked about not overwhelming you. So if this is overwhelming, don't do it. If you could, start interviewing somebody that's going to have an ideal audience in their network that you could bring on your IG. So that when they go live, when you go live together, their people we notified and people be like, who's Jennifer? Right? You could start to build your audience that way. So if it's too overwhelming to start to do 2 of those, and like I said, 60 days out, you could just go once a week. As you get to 4 weeks out, you could start to do twice a week if you wanted to really start to ramp this up, right? If it's overwhelming, do once a week solo, the next week do an interview, then go back to solo, then do interview. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the podcast, what is your suggestions on utilizing that platform to promote the launch, and then maybe repurpose that content on Instagram?
So what you could do is if you go live on Instagram, you could have your microphone be right here, and you could go live and grab the IG live and put it on your podcast.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes. Okay.
All right. So we just gave you a lot of ideas. Now, remember, I just said you don't need to do all of them. Some of these might be like, ooh, next time, right? Next launch. Doesn't have to be every one of them. I just wanted to give you some options for you to feel like what feels good to me. Okay. And that's all you can do. And you already are baseline doing really well. Like you already had been doing the consistent once a week, right? Now it's just time to really ramp up so you get the results you're looking for come this April. Okay. Now, Jennifer, if somebody happens to be in your audience, like in my audience right now, that would love to go follow you and check this out, where can they find you? Give us like information on that.
So you can find me on my podcast at the Beauty Business Game Changer podcast. You can also find me on Instagram at jenniferjadealvarez.com. Or if you want to check out my salon, it's at instagram.com/refinedbeautyboutique.com.
Amazing. Jennifer, okay. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for just killing it in Foot Traffic Formula, and always just like coming back with like, okay, now I did this. You told me to do this. I did this, right? Like you're constantly doing that. So thank you so much for your hard work. It is just constantly a reminder to all of us, like what you're putting out there. So thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, you guys, I hope you got some takeaways from Jennifer. We've got 2 more incredible ladies coming up here, but constantly just keep listening and ask yourself, like, what can I take away from this? Maybe there was nothing in there for you right now. Maybe there's one golden nugget. Maybe it's from the next person coming on. So just sit and really ask yourself, okay? All right, Sarah Preston, let me bring you on screen. Hi, Sarah.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Can you share with everybody real quick, just a tiny bit about what your business is, and then start asking me your questions?
Yeah. So my name is Sarah Preston, and I am a certified faster way to fat loss coach. And so I teach women, mostly women who are near 40 or over 40, how to take control again of their nutrition, their fitness in a healthy, enjoyable way, so that they can finally feel better and lose that stubborn fat that they seem to be having trouble with because of their hormones, or because, for whatever reason, 2020, or, just having had kids and now moving on to, the next stage in life. So basically, fitness and nutrition.
Yep.
And I have a really good social media presence.
Okay.
So I feel really confident for the most part in my Facebook and my Instagram. So I'm really trying to build up my email, my drip series, and I'm working with your team on really refining my drip series that I have, because I have several lead magnets. I have mostly having to do with healthy recipes.
Right.
For example, Trader Joe's and Costco healthy grocery lists. I have Instant Pot recipes, healthy soup recipes. And I have paid traffic going to my Instant Pot recipe, and it's doing really well. The conversion is really well. I'm getting a ton of email addresses, but I'm not getting the conversion. Nobody's buying. No one's signing up for my 6-week program. So I guess my question is do I continue to just, refine that email series, or do I look at potentially doing other type of lead magnets, like a video training series or a free challenge or something like that?
Yeah. So, okay. First of all, I love this topic because, people just think like, oh, I just need something good to capture email addresses and then I'm going to blow up or then I'm going to, and yes, that's part of it, but you have to make sure that those emails, those addresses are turning into real leads that we get to convert. So this is a really great stage that you're in of tracking and figuring out like, what's my next move? Where do I go next? So first of all, you've got Instapot recipes, and then you're trying to sell them on a 6-week program to lose weight, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, first of all, I know about Faster Way. Love the program. Think it's amazing. Had done it for many, I think a couple years even. So with that said, I know that there's meal plans and there's also workouts. Now we got to be careful because it feels like it's in the same realm, right? It feels like nutrition is in the same thing as working out, but it's different. So are they jumping on for the recipes? And are you leading with, I assume you're leading with healthy recipes. So you're attracting the right type of person, but then are you leading more with like the workouts? Because that could be where the disconnect is. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. What I do is I give them, my other recipes. Then I try to provide them with more value. If they download the Instant Pot guide, I give them the soup guide, I give them the Trader Joe's list. And then I talk about how, I was always feeling guilty for eating these peanut butter balls or whatever, and try to tie it into how you don't have to feel restricted, as you go on your health journey. You can still have delicious food. And then I kind of lead it into.
So what I'm hearing is you've got like a lot of your top of funnel is all food. It's all like eating. But then when you try to sell them into the 6-week program, are you leading just as heavy and just as strong with the meal plan and the recipes? Or are you leading harder with the workouts? Because that could be where the disconnect is happening.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, wait, like, Sarah, I come to you for recipes and now you're trying to get me to work out and I've got a workout plan, or I'm not interested in the workout plan. I came for the food. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a common mistake that people do, that they just assume like, well, of course, if they're eating healthy, they want to work out.
Yeah.
Well, but maybe they already have a workout regimen. Maybe they're not interested in that. So you want to make sure that your messaging isn't like switching in the next one. We had somebody in the program talk about Instagram stories and then sell them IGTV courses. And I'm like, you think it sounds like it's the same because it's Instagram, but somebody who wants to do stories doesn't necessarily care about IGTV, right? So you've got to be careful. So I think you should start experimenting maybe with the messaging of this. Look at those nurture emails. Look at what you're saying. And does it like go to that gap, right? If you've got the top of funnel and the offer, is this connecting the two, or are we kind of taking like a left turn here and we're missing the mark?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're already thinking about something new and like a video training or a video series, maybe think about really look at the product you're selling and ask yourself, what could I do for a video series that would give them a little taste of the messaging of the product?
Okay.
That makes sense?
Okay. Yeah. And do you think that people sign up for those? Like, I know I've done free challenges and I know they'll sign up for a free challenge, but like the video trainings, the webinar, but maybe not calling it a webinar.
Yeah.
Something evergreen. I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking for, is something a little more.
You could definitely try like a 20-minute, 30-minute on-demand training that you're teaching and sharing. But again, maybe both sides, maybe not just so heavy. Maybe you're giving them like a bonus for joining live is at the end of the end of the training. You'll give them a link to your 10 Instapot recipes, right? Like maybe that's just a little piece to get them on, but the whole training is educating them on really that end outcome, that product. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's so hard to do. It's so hard to fill that gap, like you said, though, of like taking them from one thing to the purchase. I mean, that's ultimately. And do you think that it's too fast? Because my email series is just, it's like 6 emails or whatever. and they don't even really know me. And a week later, I'm asking them if they want to buy a $200 product.
Yeah. So, I mean, it depends. Like, is it too fast to hear about a $200 product? It depends where they are in their journey. Do
Okay.
they already know what the faster way is? Do they know you at all? Have they already been convinced that intermittent fasting and fat loss is the way to go? Right. So,
Mhm.
we all have different levels of how warmed up our client is or potential client. Are they problem aware? Are they solution aware? Like, do they know enough about you? So, it's not about like, is everybody ready to get hit? Some will be, some won't, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why you want to be thinking about maybe different lead magnets, talking to them in a different way, right?
Okay.
So I mean, imagine even talking more about intermittent fasting, because you could still go the nutrition route and really talking about intermittent fasting, and
Mhm.
that might lead a little bit nicer into it as well, right? There's so many things you could be doing when you're talking about the framework and the formula of the faster way. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. And then do you put paid traffic to almost everything?
No, we definitely test and see, right?
Okay.
Some we're excited about and it works well for paid traffic. Some might just be for our YouTube channel or for our organic Instagram, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. But no, we find the winners, and then we might be like, well, that it's working, but it's not working as well. So we might not put paid traffic on that, but we might let it be out there on our blog or places like that. But we only keep the winners on paid traffic that are recouping their costs. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah.
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 One thing for you, I'm super excited about. I know the bonus that we're starting just in a couple of weeks, this bite-sized bundle, I think could be really good for you with the on-demand training. That it could be a free, and we could get you something paid to kind of help get people excited and just kind of go to that next step. So I think there could be some cool stuff, because maybe we need a price point that's under the $199. Maybe we need something a little bit smaller for them to get super excited before they see how much more that could give them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's scary to put something small out there. Have you ever done like a challenge, like a challenge that's only, well, you do your drive more traffic.
Yeah. So we do our challenges now paid and small, like a low cost, but that was just December and January. So before then, I've been doing free challenges for the last 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and here's the thing, you could still go free challenge to small upsell. Like imagine if it was a free challenge and on the next page it was like buy my recipe ebook with my top 10 blah 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 Trader Joe's, all the things you said for
Yeah.
$7 or $17, right? All of a sudden they don't have to know who you are or what you're doing for $17. It's like, oh, that sounds good. $17, sure, right? And
Yeah.
what happens is you start to recoup your ad spend as
Mhm.
you're filling your next challenge.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah. So I'm really thinking this could be a good model for you. And I'm excited that you're in the program, that we can kind of work deeper and go through this, because this could
Mhm.
be a good way to kind of get you out there and get started and have that like lower level product before the bigger ask for somebody that maybe just met you today.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So any other question, anything else before we go?
No, I think that's it. Thank
Where
you.
can people find you if they want to check out the Faster Way and check out you guys? I'm a big fan of the Faster Way. I think it is a phenomenal program. But Sarah, where can they find you and just more details about it?
The easiest is Instagram, Sarah Preston Healthy Living, and same on Facebook, Sarah Preston Healthy Living.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sarah, you're in foot traffic. What do you enjoy most about it, or what is like most exciting for you about the program? Like what are you like, oh, I liked this, or I need this? Like what's your opinion?
Yeah. Well, I loved all of the content, the entire program I went through. I just like binged on all of it and learned so much from that. I love having the accountability coach that I can message with and have calls with and ask questions to, bounce ideas off of. That's key.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely is helpful for somebody that you really want to be held accountable. Like a lot of us, we're pretty good at self-discipline. However, it's just so much more when there's just somebody to say, hey, Sarah, how's it going? What happened this week?
Yeah.
Did you put that out there? So Sarah, thank you so much for jumping on. This was a phenomenal conversation. Great questions. And I cannot wait to see what happens from this. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. We've got one more coming up, another Sarah, a different Sarah. But I hope you could see how there are different stages of people that are watching you. People that have literally, right now, somebody on here is watching me for the first time. They've never heard of me. They've never heard of foot traffic formula, right? This is new to them, okay? There's somebody on here that's been warmed up to me. They've been watching me for months, right? Maybe years. So you've got to ask yourself, who am I talking to? What lead magnet am I putting out, and who am I trying to attract, right? So I hope that was helpful. All right, we are going to jump over to Sarah. Sarah, hello, welcome.
Hi. Apparently, you only work with Sarahs.
I know, I guess. I do have a lot of common names in the program for sure. So Sarah has been a member of our foot traffic formula now for quite a while and is a current powerhouse, one of our newest members to Powerhouse. So welcome. Sarah, tell us a little bit about your business, what you're working on, like a 60-second overview, and then just jump in with your questions.
Okay, so I have a brick and mortar in Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm going to throw a new elevator pitch at you that I was just working on with Erica. Okay, are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
I help women in accounting and finance have a highly successful career while balancing all of their other roles so they have a fantastic, full, and wealthy life.
Love it. I love it. I feel like you're cruising. Every time I talk to you, something else is happening or something new. And sitting here reading it, like it's going to take you some time to keep reading it, and you'll refine it, and you'll be like, okay, I don't like that word. Let's move that. And then pretty soon you won't need to read it. You'll just be able to say it, and it's your elevator pitch. I love it. Cool. Exciting.
Yeah. So the backstory is I own a brick and mortar. That's how I landed in foot traffic formula a year ago.
Yeah.
And then through the pandemic, ended up with some consulting clients, and you looked at me and said, I think you have a business. I think you're starting a business. And I was like, what are you talking about? So that's where we are. We're in the midst of forming a new framework.
Yep.
And I'm in a phase where I'm testing a lot.
Yeah, you're very similar to me, where you're not new to business, but you are starting a new business. So you're talking logos and frameworks and titles and names and all of the above. But that's exciting. So where are you at now? What questions what do you want to dive into today?
Okay, so I'm laughing because I feel like Jennifer and Sarah already took all my questions. So we're going to have to do some mindset work. Are you ready?
I'm totally ready. And let's just pause. I've been telling everybody, even if you're not coming on here, right? Even if you're not on screen with me, you can get so much out of it. You are literally saying your questions have been answered by watching Jennifer and Sarah, which makes me so happy to hear. And I hope other people listening are saying the same thing. So let's do some mindset work. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. So I think, and we started this week, but how do I accept the limitations of where I am? Right. So I'm 10 weeks from having another baby. I don't want to get shiny object. We've kind of defined, I'm in a very narrow for the next 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to take more one-on-one clients only, but I'm listening to Jennifer and I'm like, ooh, I don't have a podcast. Ooh, I don't do that. Oh, I love the faster way. I should sign up under Sarah. I should be doing faster way with her. Like, I just need to be here. And if I'm completely honest with you, Stacy, which we're completely honest in what we do, I'm struggling with a little bit of jealousy because you hear about all these other wins. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I don't want them to have those wins, but it starts to make me shrink back and I get a little like,
okay, so you know what? I was thinking about this week. So when the jealousy creeps in, do you think it's creeping in because there's a part of you that doesn't believe you can have their results?
Probably. Yeah, that's exactly.
Because think about it. If you really believed like, oh, Jennifer just did this, I could do that too, would you really be jealous?
That's a good question. Yes. And I think oftentimes I'm starting here and then I hear somebody else in foot traffic and especially in Powerhouse that I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so much further ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And then I just shut down.
So, okay. So let's say there are powerhouses that are further ahead of you. What does that say about you?
Probably it should say nothing. right? Like,
But what does it say? What is your mind telling you?
my mind goes, I'm behind. I'm never going to catch up. Just like I could go down the whole path of the word idiot. I mean, that's terrible.
No, it's okay.
I hate to say that.
But people are, I'm sure, thinking, I've said that too. Like, ouch, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I don't stay there.
Okay.
But it happened again this week. You know, somebody else shared a big win in our mastermind, and I was done. Like, it didn't even matter what anyone said after that. I was just done. So,
okay. So somebody said something. What was your first thought?
How the hell did she do that?
Okay. And then what?
I'm never going to get there. And in this was a big win, like a $25,000 win. I mean, that somebody had within 30 days. And I just thought, oh my gosh, good for you.
Yeah.
You know, but
it sucks for me.
Never going to happen.
Yeah. I love your honesty right now, because I guarantee somebody's listening is like, thank you for saying all of the things that I already am thinking in my head. Right. Okay. So $25,000 win, you have to like celebrate her because she's in the mastermind. And fake.
And I did.
Okay.
We've had conversations since then, and I feel much better about the person.
Okay, good. So, and this is human nature, you guys. This is so normal, right? So you have to like just suck it up and be like, oh, congratulations, so happy for you. And then you're like, I suck, I'm horrible, I'm an idiot. Like I'm never gonna get there. So, first of all, what part of you, or like what is going on in your mind that makes you think you need to be in a line, like in the same pace as everybody else? Like, what if you've got your own timing and everything is exactly how it's supposed to be?
I don't doubt that that's true. It's hard to accept that this is where I am and this is all I can get done.
Yeah.
So it's just hard to be right here where I am. I want to be where everybody is.
Yeah. So do you think this person that has just had this big win, when you get to that big win, right? When you get there, and you will get there, when you get there, do you think you will be content and you'll be like, I made it, I'm here? Or do you think you're going to look at the girl who had $100,000 win and be like, oh man, what do you think you're going to do?
If I'm not careful, right? If this becomes a pattern of thinking, then there's always going to be somebody, you know, and you talked about that this week, that you run this size business, not that size.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to run that size yet. Right.
Yeah.
So I think I'm cautious that if those seeds of bitterness get planted, when those develop and grow into something else, that's pretty ugly.
Yeah. I think I told you this week we got to chat, and I said, I don't think I'm a jealous person. I think I used to be, but now it's like, I just get excited. And I believe it's because I believe I can do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think there's a lack of confidence coming from, can I do it? I want you to like really just sit with that as that comes up next time. Because yeah, I do believe you can do it. It's just the matter of, well, when and how. And then when you start to ask yourself those questions, then I want you to say, okay, well, what are my opportunities here? How could I be doing this? What did she do? Instead of kind of having that jealous reaction, pick their brain. Say, hey, like, you're in this mastermind together. You get to say, tell me everything. You know, how did you do that? Or what did that look like? Or you get to go more behind the scenes, right? So asking all the things. We do this with our clients. So we had somebody in Foot Traffic Formula that went on TikTok, did something after Erica said to do something. She goes on TikTok, she does something. She came back with like hundreds or maybe even over 1,000 leads. I don't do TikTok, and I definitely do not have any leads from TikTok. Okay. There was no jealousy. I was like, Erica, you go call her up. You figure out what she did. You get her to be a case study for the rest of the people, because we all need to do it. Right. Like my mind goes to that. And I want you to see, like, why isn't your mind allowing you to go there? Does that make sense?
Yeah. And And I think that's, I mean, you bring up TikTok, and definitely one of my boundaries is there will never be any dancing on TikTok. So, but it's totally fear-based. And you're right. If I can move out of fear and start to take action of having conversations with other people around me and, like, what are you doing? Let's break this down into steps that I can take to get to where you are. And everyone in our mastermind is so generous with, there's no secrets. Here it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what do you want to know? You ask, you're going to get it. So who do you think is looking at you that is thinking, man, I wish I was in Sarah's shoes. I wish I had one business starting a second. She accidentally got a consulting business during a pandemic. Like, what do you think that person, do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I do. Do you really want crying on your,
Hey,
I'm fragile.
You wanted to talk mindset.
Yes.
And you go wherever you want to go. I mean, you can say whatever you need to say for later, but I mean, think about that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I know that there's no one in Foot Traffic Formula that I wouldn't help. There's no one in my bubble that I like, you want anything I want, here you go. Here's the lawyer I use. Here's my whatever, we all are super, like, we share a ton with each other. So
I think remembering where your sweet spots are, like what you're really good at, like you're actually really good with finance and numbers, which is funny because that's a thing that most people aren't good at, right? You are involved in a space that is, most people say, I'm not a numbers person. Like, I just can't do that. And you are a numbers person. You are good at the finances. You are good at helping people with that. And I think you've got to remember who you are and what you've done and what you've already accomplished. One thing that helped me this past year of being grateful was just keeping a highlights list. Anytime something good happened or something I was excited about that I wanted just to remember, I wrote it down. So when I would have the days, like if the jealousy day pops up, pull out that highlight. It's actually sitting right on my whiteboard. I can see it over here. I would go to that and I would just read through. It's like, oh yeah, I did this. And I had this person on my show and like, we had this massive launch of this. And all of a sudden it starts to give me that confidence that maybe I was lacking in the moment. Does that make sense?
that's good. That's really good.
Because there's so many things that you could be ecstatic about.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Your mind can only think about one thing at a time. So it can either think about you not doing a $25,000 deal this week, or it could think about something that you've already accomplished or something you're excited to accomplish. Right?
That's good.
Okay.
That's a good word.
All right. What else? How else can I support you? Was that helpful?
That is super helpful. I'm trying to take notes and realizing I can go back and listen to this too. Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to jump into the goals that I have of getting, like, similar to Jennifer, I'm supposed to be working on finding more one-on-one clients through this kind of next phase. And I'm struggling with, okay, we narrowed that down to an offer of $349.
Okay.
And I know that we need to give value at $1,000.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. So what's your question for me?
What else can I include in that package other than my time?
Yeah.
To get to the value.
This is a great question. Okay. So you're saying we're going to do some private consulting. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of times it's like, it is just your time. It's you on Zoom, it's you in Voxer, it's you on email or whatever you gift them. Right. But you want to ask yourself, how do I add scalable bonuses to the package to beef it up, but you only have to do it once? So what if you were to create, like, eventually you'll have a course, you'll have other things that you're doing. What if you started to kind of come up with a workbook or a video training or something? Here's what kind of kills me with private consults, right? It's like the same conversations over and over. So the things that are the same, imagine if you said, I want you to watch this video today. So when we jump on, so I did that with you, with Powerhouse, you guys get a kickoff call. And instead of just jumping on that kickoff call and me explaining all the things that I want to explain before we dive in, I made you guys watch an hour video before you jumped on that call, right? That hour video is a training. It could be technically like a bonus, right? You could do something like that. You could be gifting them the jump start, blah, 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 right before they get on their kickstart call or whatever that looks like. So templates, workbooks, depending on who this person is, like what they would need. Who your person is in management, correct? So I don't know what they do, but let's say like they needed, like when I say swipe files, like maybe you're giving like customer service templates in an email, or I'm making this up, but you see what I'm saying? You put in the work once, you gift it to everybody. And then when the private coaching is done, you turn it into your course that you eventually put it into there. And it's really not a waste of time.
So do you think I'm toying with like a bite-sized training that I would deliver 3 times per week? And my people really don't want more live time. They want more, I'm going to do it on my own time.
Perfect. Even better.
So I'm thinking like 3-minute videos 3 times per week, that here's, this week we're covering this topic and then we're moving on to that topic. And before we meet, you need to have these done.
Yeah. I would say instead of doing it 3 days a week, I would still do those 3 videos, but I would drip them on 1 day that week and let them decide how fast they're going to watch it or what they're going to do. Because if you do it 3 times, it's like, oh shoot, I haven't even watched the other one. And now she pinged me for the next one. And nobody, you just said, right? You feel so behind. Nobody wants to feel behind. Nobody wants to feel like they're paying for something and they haven't even utilized the last 3 weeks.
Yep. That's good.
Yeah.
So Monday, drop that. Here's what your homework is. Get it done. We're meeting on Thursday. Love to see this done by.
Totally. Give them like Thursday. A week or 2 to catch up. Like you can give them some time ahead. But yeah, and I love in Powerhouse, I'd love for it to see you post like this actual offer or package, like what this is going to look like with these bonuses if you want me to check it out.
Yep. I'll get it posted by tomorrow.
I know you will. You're a fast one too. And like people probably look at you and they're like, holy cow, she already came up with a framework and she already came up with this. And you guys, Sarah and I jumped off the call and within 24 hours, it was like 12 hours, she already posted a framework that she like made up herself about how she's unique and all of this with a logo, with a color, with graphics. I mean, I guarantee you somebody in Powerhouse was like, how did she do that so fast? I wish I could, right? So there are people looking at you the same way you're looking at other people. You're amazing.
Thanks. That's hard to believe, but thank you.
No, you're amazing. I guarantee it. Okay, Sarah, where can people, if somebody's like, you know what, I would love to work with Sarah to do more. I want to hear about her private consults, any of that stuff. Where could they find you? Social media, anything you want to share?
Yeah, best place to connect is on Instagram at Sarah Turak, TURACK on Instagram. So love to see anyone in my DMs.
Yeah. And you guys, anybody that jumped on live that wants to throw their links or anything in the chat, please feel free to do so somebody can see it and go back and grab it later. You guys, lots of really cool stuff going on in the comments and people just saying, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you guys for sharing so many takeaways. You guys, I'm so excited to see so many people just chiming in and saying that. Sarah, would you do me the biggest favor and share your favorite part of Foot Traffic or Powerhouse? Because you are in both. What is your favorite thing or what is the most useful? Just something you're like, I could never live without that thing.
Oh gosh.
I know there's so many.
So we started this journey a year ago and I literally didn't know what a sales funnel was. I didn't even know what I was signing up for. I just went into the year saying, I own this brick and mortar and I have to figure out marketing. Mm-hmm. So I think Sarah Preston said before me, we just binged, over 48 hours. And then from there went to having our first sales funnel set up over the weekend, my husband and I, through the pandemic. I never saw press as part of the sales funnel. And it became, so we went from local press to national press for our local brick and mortar. And just being able to, yes, great. It's great to hire out sales funnels, but in that moment to have to put a phone call into somebody else and say, oh my gosh, this is about to air in 5 hours and I need to capture people's email addresses. And it wasn't even, my husband was like, this goes on the news at 5 o'clock tonight. We have to run home and set up a funnel real quick.
Oh,
and
my
so
goodness.
That was great. So it's just been such an evolution. And then the friendships. Yeah.
You know, what's so cool is we just heard part of your gratitude list right there. Go rewatch this, write that all down. And remind yourself what you've done in the last year when people have had the craziest year of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. You guys, oh my goodness, you were so amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you to the other Sarah. And thank you to Jennifer. You guys, it's hard to come on here and ask questions that you want for your business, but know everybody else is going to hear it. Everybody else is going to hear what you're struggling with or what you're trying to do and all of that. So I appreciate them for coming on, being vulnerable and sharing, because we know how many more people it just got to help. So thank you guys so much. If you are interested in Foot Traffic Formula, the best way to test us out, give us a try, is joining one of our 5-day Drive More Traffic boot camps. The next one is coming up, I think like February 17th. So just in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be kicking off our next one. It's only $17. It's 5 days live with me and my entire team, 10 free or low cost ways to drive more traffic. That's kind of how we kick it off, and then teach you what we're talking about when we say Foot Traffic Formula. So come join us. You can go to stacytushel.com/traffic. That's going to have all of the details there. Go get signed up. Only $17. It'll be the best $17 you ever spend. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining, and I will see you next time.